Hey everybody, play at 1.5 times speed or 2.0 times speed. That being said, Tectone's reacting to a video, and
You
it's
tell me
a
that video games think that
video
I'm stupid.
by Noctopus. So if you're subscribed to me, and not many of you are, but if you are, please go subscribe to Noctopus and Tectone, and I just want to see what he is saying, or well, what both of them are saying, and I will try to do my best to, you know, not piss anyone off and all that. So let's get into it.
But what I do? This guy's VTuber model.
When it comes to playing video games.
Uh-huh.
So much so that my two brain cells will implode if I don't know where to go or what to do next.
Yeah, I'll be real, man. I feel like for me, for video games, if I get lost a single time, I'm good. Same thing with Elden Ring, man. When there's all this bullshit of like, oh, dude, it's open world. I don't care. I like linear. I like knowing where the f I need to go. I like knowing how the f to get there. Like, dude, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, do you think it's fun for me to be told, hey man, there's this crazy store that sells Baja Blast. I ain't gonna tell you how to get there, but it's there. Go find it. No, bro, I'm just gonna pull up Google Maps and go there. It's the same way I play every video game. Elden Ring, how to get to next boss. How to get to next boss. I swear to God, if I didn't have chat here telling me where the I would just quit. I just can't do it. It is not hard to beat the bosses in the Souls games. It's hard figuring out how to get there.
Okay, so one thing. I have a lot of experience in Dark Souls 1, not much experience in 2 or 3, and no experience in Elden Ring at all. But I did do a no armor run in Dark Souls 1, and yeah, that was not fun. But either way, no, it's not hard to defeat the bosses in Dark Souls. It is not hard at all. It's actually quite easy. But that being said, getting to... Wait, sorry. Gotta backtrack for a second. Which I'm getting to. It's not easy to... It's easy to kill the bosses in Dark Souls, but people, from what I have noticed, is people rush things and want to get done with what they are doing or playing, and that leads to them rushing the boss fight, which, unless you're good at the game and you have prior knowledge to it and just know how to work around the boss's movements and defeat the boss no problem, which Tectone I'm sure does, along with many others, you're most likely going to die if you don't have the skills necessary to defeat the boss at a quicker time and adapt to what the boss is trying to do. That being said, getting to the boss location is not hard. It's actually quite easy because if you don't skip the story, the devs basically plant directions in the story. That's what I got from Dark Souls, at least. I didn't really need to backtrack at all from my first playthrough. On my second playthrough, I did skip most of the story by spamming a button to get past it quicker, and I ended up having to backtrack a lot more. But if you take time to read everything, the developers pretty much plant directions into the story. However, I will say this. I did have to backtrack even though I read the story, but it wasn't a lot. It was like at least one time. I did not have to backtrack. And if you are backtracking a lot when you're skipping a story by spamming the A button or X button or whatever to get through the story faster, you are going to end up looking up where to go and looking up or looking up where to go or asking how to get there from multiple people. And if they don't know, then you're gonna look it up anyway. And if you read it, you won't really have that problem. Sometimes you do, but most times you don't. But also, the only reason that the video game companies think you're stupid, which they don't think you're stupid, they know you're stupid, and I'm stupid, and multiple people are stupid. Is because they have to dumb down their games in order for them to adapt to the stupidity of the people playing their games. So games are actually becoming more stupid than the people are. But if you're smart, if the majority of people were smart and did not have as many issues as of that, then the games would not have to dumb down their games. The game developers would not have to dumb down their games in order to make it easier for the players to tell where to go. If that makes sense.
Should I step in this
stand by
bear
that.
trap? But even I notice when game devs beg my dopamine-deprived brain by doing everything in their power to grab my attention. Okay, so
That is also where I quit. I quit this game immediately. I mean, I got to Poppy's Playtime Chapter 3. I quit immediately. Backtracking and backtracking and backtracking. Bro, there is nothing worse than backtracking in a video game.
so we're going to the counselor.
If you're backtracking, you're not reading. That's what I'm saying. Or you're just defaulting to asking other people where to go, and you're not doing any of the thinking that, granted, a video game, you don't want to think when you're playing a video game, but as a person that's had brain surgery, you have to think how to do a lot more than what your body just does naturally. So with people like Tectone, I'm gonna use him as an example here. People like Tectone can talk faster, can easily uh, think of the processes in the brain and think it out. Uh, he can also walk without having to think of like every step he's taking because your body does naturally. He doesn't have to think to breathe uh, because the body again does it naturally. So you're actually thinking and your fingers when you're playing video games on the PC, on the console, on the mobile side of things. You have to think a lot more than what a lot of people are aware of. I'm not saying that I'm not criticizing anyone here, but am saying that games, you don't want games to let you have you think a lot, but you are already thinking or you are already thinking a lot more than you would normally realize. As far as like say Tectone goes, or I don't know anyone else to be honest. Um, and honestly, I don't know Tectone, so Tectone, I'm sorry if you have been through things like I have, and you would understand that it takes a lot more thinking just to do simple projects with your hands and with your brain and with your mouth, um, including even your tongue, uh, and arms and everything else. Moving your head side to side takes a lot more than some may realize. It's weird, but it does. That being said, I don't think backtracking is a bad thing. It's if you're defaulting to that and if you are skipping the story, because once again, the devs pretty much plant directions in which area you are to go. Now you could look it up or ask other people and it would be easier and quicker because maybe you just want to get done with the game and everything like that, which is understandable. But if you slow down and take time to read the story, you will not be backtracking as much. And if you get lost per se in an open world game, that doesn't exactly mean you're lost unless you are going to a specific location and you deviate from that path. And then you deviate from that path and you deviate from that path. And then you try getting back to that same path, which you aren't able to really get back to that same path. But you are going to go through, say, the 3 other areas that you did not originally know of, and then find your way to the boss or the next location that you're supposed to be at. That's what I'm saying to that extent.
Office. Where the is that at?
Yep.
I'm assuming it's by this giant beam of light. So let's uncover the actual reason why games might be treating their players like they're babies at every
Because they're
turn.
stupid.
Because it might.
People are stupid, yes, but some people are smart.
Might be more necessary than you think.
No. It's not gamers that are stupid. It's people in general. The average human is stupid. The average human is not smart. Like 3% of humans are actually smart. The rest are dumbasses because that's what the world wants you to be.
If I put a random person
If the world wants you to be stupid, then why are you going to why are you going on that route that the world wants you to be? Why don't you deviate from that path and be smart, or not be someone that just goes, okay, let's see, is this good for me? Let's press this and find out. Meanwhile, it's a freaking nuke button, and of course, it's not gonna be good for you. Or you can be smart and be like, oh, hey, that button has caution labels around it, has glass over it so you don't accidentally press it. It has like red and yellow streaks or something going through it. So it grabs your attention that, hey, don't press the button and blow up half the continent, because there's probably a nuke label next to it or something like that. Like, why go to the path the world wants you to be and not deviate away from that and be smarter than the average person or smarter than what the world wants?
In front of a modern day video game,
Yep.
the chances of them at least knowing where to go are fairly high,
No,
unless
no, it's
they're a
not.
games journalist.
Oh, jeez.
I'm hosting my girlfriends tonight. I've been so busy prepping. This is a time where I just want to give myself a round of applause for thank.
Not again. Oh,
Sorry for the ad, by the way. But I do want to...
Want you to be.
If I put a random person in front of a modern day video game,
Yep.
the chances of them at least knowing where to go are fairly high,
No,
unless
no, it's
they're a
not.
games journalist.
Okay.
oh jeez. Not again. Oh, maybe if I...
Well, for one, the directions are very simple in this picture, so I don't exactly know what the issue is, because to me that's just stupid, someone getting stuck at that. Because it's obvious. Go on the cube, hold for high jump, and jump toward the tall cylinder and dash in the air in order to get onto it or get over it. Like, it's really not that hard. It's basically put two and two together, and you'll come across a pretty self-explanatory suggestion or self-explanatory outlook on things.
Fine. Let me go over here real quick. Okay, okay,
There's no way
I'm
that's
definitely
real.
not doing this to fill time so the video can get to 8 minutes for mid-rolls.
But if I
Honestly, Tectone, I really hope it isn't real, because that person might really need some help on how to figure some things out.
were to stick them in the water temple level from Legend of Zelda
There's just no way.
Ocarina of Time,
There's no way.
they'd end up spending hours trying to figure out what key goes to what door.
No.
Okay, so I did not play Legend of Zelda, so I will not comment on this.
When I was a kid, I'm not even kidding you guys. 3 weeks it took me on Water Temple. 3 weeks. I will say, as an adult, an hour and a half. As a kid, 3 weeks.
Luckily, anyone born in the 1990s like me remembers that there was one thing that constantly saved us, and that wasn't the game.
Guidebooks!
Guides?
Do you mean
Guides?
the hot goth girl
God.
behind the counter that would purposely ignore you?
Well, yes, but what I really meant were the $20 game guides you
Yeah.
could buy back then. The only
Dude,
Yeah, I remember those. Okay.
I had the World of Warcraft one, and I would read it non-stop, bro. It was the shit. I even had the Ocarina of Time one, but I wasn't allowed to look at it, even though my brothers used it. Same with the Majora's Mask one. Their Nintendo Power was the
only
shit.
problem with this, though, is one, you have to read, and two, you have to completely interact
Oh, bummer. Read. How... Okay.
your playthrough to skim to the right page and pray to find a clear solution.
Nope, you just pre-read that shit when you're in 3rd grade.
Okay, one, Tectone, thank you. But also, how is reading a bad thing? Like, seriously, come on.
This evolved over time, though, with finding help on game forums and 140 walkthrough videos on YouTube. Personally, I still remember going on GameFAQs to figure out how to solve the Reggie Trio puzzle in Pokemon Emerald. This being like 15 years ago,
That's
so
awesome.
in-game hints were
So
usually
cool.
absent or pretty obscure at best. But this is where modern video games come in, because instead of needing a guide or looking up answers, game developers got pretty good at learning one thing: mind control. What if
Dude,
They know you're stupid. They know people are stupid, so they need to blatantly point out, hey, this is where you are going.
I genuinely feel like the government has gotten better at mind control in the past like 10, 20 years. Because that's essentially
Oh, they have.
what advertising and sponsorships are. Like the government trying to control the way that the people in their country think in order to milk
This will revolutionize your shaving routine. All thanks to manscaped.com and their handy
every last ounce of effort and dollar from them.
if I told you that those sneaky little bastards were actually controlling your brain from the very start? Forget the yellow paint.
Yeah. Duh. But it goes deeper than video games because the who do we all have to answer to? The government. So even if the games are dumbing you down or something like that, the government, the game developers have to not only not answer to them in some ways, but answer to them in other ways.
Yellow
This
paint.
course because I'm about to ruin how you see video games forever.
No, you're
But
not.
to do that, we need to look at the human brain.
Okay.
Our brain has been trained since we were apes to look for specific colors and
When were we apes, dude?
contrast, and
Yellow
those
and red.
signal our primitive minds to subconsciously think certain things over time.
Okay.
This has evolved to include things like video games. When I show
How?
you this red cylinder, what do you immediately assume
Shoot
about
it.
it? That red means danger and it'll explode, right?
Yep.
And if it doesn't, then it's time to get a refund.
Yep.
Alternatively, have you ever wondered why some of
That's not mind control. That is just thinking with your brain, hey, this might explode or be dangerous for me in some way, shape, or form. And it's not hard to come to the solution that it's in a video game, it's probably going to explode.
the highest tiers in games have a yellow color theme? It's because out of every color, yellow and gold are linked to giving humans the feeling of joy and happiness. Combine red and yellow,
Wait, really? Red and yellow? Joy and happiness? Red and yellow for me would be more like a cautious type of thing, where blue, uh, blue is more of a cool, easygoing feeling, uh, like a teal, maybe, um, as well. Uh, yeah, I don't see red and yellow being something for like happiness or something like that. I,
I think blue, personally. Blue makes me happy.
and your mind will start to
Tectone said it. Good job, Tectone. appreciate that.
feel hungry. Kind of
I'm
makes you
hungry.
wonder about all those fast food logos.
Okay, I knew that yellow and red were to incite hunger, yeah.
Huh.
Listen, fat ass. Stop thinking about food and tell me how games tell players where to go.
Dude, I want you to imagine the sensation of
Red and yellow equaling fast food. I mean, I guess if you're putting it to that, but at the same time, again, for me, it's more of a cautionary color rather than just a color for food. But I guess people could see it that way.
buying a McDonald's 10-piece chicken nugget with barbecue sauce, a large fry, a McDouble with Big Mac sauce on it, and a Coke. And imagine your ass eating that right now, bro. Oh my God. Imagine some piping hot McDonald's brought to your house by a minority. Can you imagine
You mean like DoorDash?
that shit, bro? Dude, I'm telling you, go on DoorDash, whether there's a tornado outside, an earthquake,
Yep.
get yourself a minority to bring you some fast food today, man. That shit is insane, bro. Imagine pizza instead? Nah, bro. F that. Absolutely not. I just ate. Eat again. Eat again, bro. oh, McDonald's sound insane, bro.
Yeah, alright, fine. Look, I'm gonna show you this level from Portal 2, except all the lights are turned on, which makes it look disgusting. I can guarantee that if you sat any normal
Lifen. Oral hygiene is no joke, and Lifen knows this. That's why they've got the all
person in front of this,
Yeah.
they would have trouble understanding where to go. Alright, now turn them off. You can see that your eyes are immediately drawn towards the lights,
Yep.
which are carefully placed not just to light up important areas,
Yep.
but to constantly draw your attention to specific game mechanics.
Makes sense.
Okay, this works for dark areas, but what about areas with the sun?
Uh-huh.
This gets a bit trickier, especially with modern games who have constantly evolved to have more realistic graphics.
What
One of
game
the
is
most
that?
recent and completely over
Pretty sure it's Final Fantasy VII Remake.
blown examples being the infamous yellow painted climbable rocks in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
insane.
As you can tell, they stand out pretty easily to anyone who
Rebirth, Remake, whatever.
has a room temperature IQ. And things
I don't
like
have
this
that.
are usually just done with a simple material swap or decal, which in the
Yeah, but it doesn't really break my immersion because I just think that somebody's been there before and so they marked it for themselves. Just in case they forgot. You know, I feel like some people would probably do that if they needed to climb up the mountain.
grand scheme of things is a pretty
just a
cheap
painting guy.
solution to guiding the player. I'm telling you this right now. I'm sorry. You guys that don't like this, gamers are fucking stupid, okay?
Dude, also, I don't mind it at all. It does not bother me a bit.
If this wasn't painted yellow, nobody would fucking know.
Straight up.
Um, yeah, people would know. Majority of people wouldn't because they're stupid, but people that don't follow what the world says or wants from them and deviates to something smarter and away from what the world wants, you're most likely going to be able to comprehend where to go.
Could they have done like a brick? Yeah, sure. But who fucking cares? This
up.
isn't always enough though, so there are other ways that don't exactly involve the environment. Like when side characters completely destroy any hope of immersion you had by telling you things like,
This might be a good spot to find some ingredients.
I would take a...
I Yeah, that is pretty annoying.
A gun, shove it down Donald Duck's throat, and blow his intestines out if I had to hear that shit longer than
Graphic.
5 minutes. And every single time I do, oh, dude, the best game of all time is Kingdom Hearts. No, it's not. There's no way I'm having Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy as my allies in justice. There's just no way.
Okay, so pretty much then at that point, why did you watch Avengers or why did you watch Justice League or like there's been teams of people before that have done that as far as like say in video games and things like that. Movies and video games. It's becoming more common nowadays, which again stupid, but that is what it is.
Or even
And I would eat them.
being cursed with dopamine.
Bro, can you imagine the satisfaction of grabbing Navi by her wings, ripping them off as she screams, shoving her down your mouth, and having her like a cream puff, bro? As you hear her bones snap underneath your teeth each time you take a bite.
Addiction myself, I'm personally a fan of
Once again, graphic.
breadcrumbing the player around with shiny objects, something that a game like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth actually does pretty well.
Aaron, what the Sigma?
Yo, what's up, Johnny?
But even when you combine all of these things, there still seems to be an unforeseen issue.
what's
If
that?
my immersion is broken, then I have to face real life. And on top of that, my D-student intellect is insulted whenever
Why are people's immersion broken? Because they're focused on other things at that point? That's my guess.
Dude, you ever like 12 hours into an MMO RPG gaming sesh, and then you realize that you're looking at a monitor, right? But like for those 12 hours, you felt that you were in the game, and then you remember there's black borders around your monitor.
The pain of the dead grows in the cemetery.
Sorry about the ads, by the way.
Oh my God, it's so depressing. Or when you turn it off, you stand up, realize that you're human and you're hungry. You have to go eat, pass out, wake up, and you're not in gaming mode yet. You let out a big sigh because your 3 elf girls in your party that are sucking your dick daily aren't there yet. You go throw water in your face, hoping to forget. You sit down in the gaming chair and you're locked in for another 12 men.
game guides are done haphazardly.
That's what I did when I was a kid, and man, was it a blast. I regret it at the same time, but it was a blast.
So how do we solve it? It turns out that the solution isn't exactly an easy thing to do because we're trying to do the world's hardest balancing act of accessibility versus freedom. The thing about humans is we actually are kind of stupid.
Who is this
Take one
guy?
look at your favorite Twitch streamer.
Kind of. Some of us are pretty stupid. I won't lie.
There's Elden Ring playthrough and you'll realize that. Can you outrun a
Let the record show that I obliterated Elden Ring, okay? Let the record show I obliterated Elden Ring. It was not even close, and I only got stuck on one boss, the boss that everybody gets stuck on, and I was under-leveled, and I was using a bad build, and I still crushed it. So, did you finish it? I beat every boss.
a bear? Yes, you can. Maybe not.
So there's that.
one. My horse. To gauge how stupid players
Oh my gosh.
are, though, I want you to imagine the most tired, underpaid, and underappreciated employee possible. This
I see 2,000 of them right there.
is called the Quality Assurance Tester. Game companies will do things like hire QA teams to test and play through their game and report any bugs or frustrations they may have.
Yes, and did they get rid of QA testers for most games? Because I feel like that QA testers were completely taken out of the games and just like let the people tell us what the bugs are and things like that uh instead of actually having a QA person and testing the game before release that, hey, there's a bug in the game that might lead to more bugs down the line. I'm sure QA testing is a thing for a lot of people. A lot of video game companies, I'm sure, do QA test, but I'm guessing a lot of them don't. Is that I've been out of the console scene for a while. Is that just how it is now, or because that's what it seems like to me?
After that, it's up to the game devs to prioritize which issues to solve before release. One of my favorite examples of this is Valve's struggle during Portal 2's development, doing their best to get the QA team to pay attention to the cool neurotoxin implosion scene. Nothing was until they added a sign that said this, which somehow actually solved the problem. This just proves that if QA doesn't know where to go, the devs will make it more obvious by any means possible, or at least they used to. In the last 10 years, gaming
I've never played Portal 2, so
has exploded in popularity.
Most store-bought seafood sits out, thawed and degrading in quality. A lot of people don't even realize that.
Bringing on a whole lot of new players. This means that there's actually a high chance that some of these...
I think that gaming is going to die very soon. I don't think it's going to grow in popularity. I feel like the browsing features of YouTube Shorts and TikTok are going to kill gamers' drives, and I really don't feel that games are kind of innovating at the speed they need to innovate in order to remain relevant for the foreseeable future. And I think that if you look at Twitch stream analytics, that is really going to line up with what I'm saying, because the majority of people don't even want to watch games because a lot of them are just dated, man. And for the new ones, they take years to make and they only last like an hour. It's really sad.
These players might have some sort of...
They only last an hour because people that are... Some of them just suck. Some of the games just suck overall, in my opinion. But then again, we're all different. So, I mean, sure, go ahead. Enjoy what you will. I don't... I see games dying off, but in I'm pretty sure when AI comes full bore, video games are going to take a major hit. That's just my opinion on that.
Physical disability like color blindness. How the hell is anyone supposed to tell where they're going when all the glowing green doors are more of a soft brown? In fact, if you're a man watching...
I'm red-green colorblind, just FYI.
this right now, there is a 1 in 12 chance you are colorblind to some degree.
And if you're a woman, congratulations on being the first to actually watch one of our videos.
I could.
Nice.
Oh, damn, bro. Too real.
Couldn't agree more. And if you take all of these points and throw them together, it turns out that there's a lot of complex things to consider when guiding players. Accessibility versus freedom will always be that balancing act that we talked about, but I do think that there are some games that do a great job at taking it head on. Consider something like Elden Ring, whose hand-holding, if you could even call it that, is very subtle. The guidance to lead players to the sights of grace isn't in your face constantly begging for attention.
Very good point. And when I found one, I felt like I got there of my own accord, not like I was led there. It's one of the best games of all time.
So you can stay focused.
I would argue Elden Ring is surely in the top 20 games of all time for sure.
On being femdom by millennia. There are also lots of games now that have the option to outright turn off quest markers like Cyberpunk, Xenoblade Chronicles, and the list goes on. And while this personally doesn't really bother me, I like the solution to give the players the freedom of choice. Alright, so we've covered a lot. So do games really think you're stupid? Even though it can seem like it sometimes, wipe that drool
Yes, they think you're stupid.
off your mouth because the answer is no.
Because they do know that you are stupid. Just like I am stupid.
No.
Yeah, they do.
You have nothing to worry about. Unless you like worrying, then check out this video on if AI robot overlords will take over
Go check out the video.
Video games forever.
God, I hope so. No, I mean, I do think games do think you're stupid because I feel like you are stupid. I feel like the majority of people on Earth are stupid. But then again, I also don't think that there's anything wrong with being stupid. I feel like majority that stupid people are more happier. And I feel like the smarter you get, the more aware you get, the more miserable you are. So me personally, I don't like guilting people who are dumb. I love people who are dumb. I think they're just a lot more enjoyable to be around, not criticizing everything that goes on around them, not nitpicking or mint-picking everything that's in front of them. And it's just kind of nice because they live in their own world. And I wish I was in there too, but the problem is I'm just cursed with this big fat cock and this big old brain. Make sure to go like, comment, subscribe to the video. See you on the next one. Peace.
Alright, thank you, Tectone, for letting me react to the video. And I'm going to give it a like, subscribe. But these are my feelings on the matter. You can have different feelings on the matter. Anyone can, honestly. But overall, it's pretty much the same exact thing, and it's gonna be the same thing for years to come if hopefully video games do end up changing though, because I like it when they actually challenge you in some way to think where you're going and what you're doing instead of just, here, go this way, guys. That's my opinion on the matter. Anyway, see y'all later. God bless.